Getting worse, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Oregon rain's not helping.
I think it's time to do something about it. Ever since I've known you, you've been fretting over this. What's your plan?
I don't know what to do. It's like, it's going to cost too much to pay someone else to do it, and I don't know if I got the skills to do it myself or not, but...
Well, the parts are on us. You know you can have a roof anytime you want it.
Really?
Why don't you... You know what? You need to talk to my... You need to talk to my friend at Mike's Auto Body here in Salem. He's fixed Scott's truck, my truck. He won't steer you wrong. Let's, you gotta go over and talk to him. He's right there off Pine Street. See what he says how to do it, if you have the skills potentially to do it.
It's worth a try.
I mean, it's your grandma's car. You can't replace it.
I know, it's been in my family since brand new, so.
And you sure you don't want to turn it into a convertible?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Tell Mike I sent you.
All right.
All right.
I'll
Good
head
luck.
over there. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Mike Simmons, and I own Mike's Auto Body and Paint. I've been in business 38 years total. We do bodywork, paint, and frame, and I'm going to talk to Andrew here about his car, about maybe cutting the skin off the roof since it's rusted and he needs to replace the roof on it. And Andrew,
yeah, probably. I was hoping to get your best opinion on this, because I've heard some people will just cut through the structure and the pillars and just do it that way, and I've heard other people say it's better to just try to take the very sheet metal skin off the top.
But you can see the rust is starting from about here up, pretty much where your lead line is. What I do is take off your chrome moldings, have the glass man pull all the glass out of it, and then peel this top all off, get it all cleaned off, and I grind out all this lead in here, grind out all the lead here, and have the windshield out up here, grind out the lead up in here. I'd leave the inner structure all in place, but what I would do is grind this all out and then drill out all your welds, and just try to take your whole skin off, drill off the spot welds in the back here all around, and if you can just take it off in one cap, just a skin cap, and then be able to lay the other cap in there and have it all pre-drilled, ground off, ready to weld in, fit it, I think it'd really be a pretty simple solution, and yet you'll have a nice job when it's all done.
Now, how long do you think this might take?
I think time-wise, you're going to be probably, if you work hard on it, you probably have it done a couple days. You know, I mean, just stick right with it.
Yeah.
And it's a big job, but yet it is and it isn't, if that makes sense. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and the biggest thing is take your time, don't get in a hurry.
I appreciate the advice.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, I'm back at the shop. I'm going to start tearing into this thing. I think the first thing I'm going to do is start taking some of the interior out. All right, I pretty much got all this interior stripped out. Found a little more rust than I would have liked up here in the front and elsewhere, but I'm going to focus on the task at hand. I think the next thing I'm going to do now is take off these trim pieces so I can get ready to peel off the vinyl top. Now, best way to do this one, I'm told, is to take a block of wood and a hammer and work from the inside and just find the upper lip of that trim piece and just tap it out a little bit at a time. You know, starting down here, actually, and try to catch that edge. All right, I finally got those trim pieces off. Now next is these ones are on the front and back windows. Now Don tells me I can use a couple of screwdrivers to dig in there and sort of pop them up. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Just gotta use your hands sometimes, I guess. There it is. Ha-ha. Looks like that's the original seal on this window, so it might be that they didn't take the windows out when they replaced the roof. In fact, it kind of looks like it's cut off before there, so it doesn't go inside. Alright, before I take off this bottom trim piece, I'm going to have to remove the wiper arms. Now to do that, all you got to do is lift it up, which unlocks it from the shaft, and just kind of wiggle it back and forth. Hold on to that. How can I not get this?
Okay, let me give you a hand.
What? Alright, so I'm also going to take off these bottom trim pieces for the vinyl top. I'm not really going to get into how to do that. You're just undoing some nuts from the inside. But there's two of them that you need to get to from the interior. And take off those interior side panels in the back. And the rest you can get to from the trunk. Well, it's the moment of truth. I've been dreading and awaiting this moment for quite a while. Ready to rip this top off. Now normally you'd have to take the front and rear glass out before you take the vinyl top off, because it wraps underneath that seal. But since this replacement top was done improperly, with the glass still in, I should be able to just rip it right out. I'm kind of apprehensive about what lies beneath. Here goes. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. Ooh. That rear window channel just exploded in rust. That's a great sign. Oh my God. The humanity. Ah! Oh yeah. Look at this. Holy crap. Look at this. Holy moly. Oh my goodness. I don't know how well you can see that from up there, but it's bad. Alright, next thing I'm going to do now is take the glass out. Now to get it out, you got to cut the seal all the way around and it should just pop right out. Now I've got this big old beast of a knife just to get a little more leverage on it. But just cut right in the middle all the way around. Alright, I got the seal all cut out. Now Javier's going to help me and we're going to try to push it out. Looks like it's coming. Yeah. Go. There it is. Alright, now that I've got the headliner out and the front and back glass and all the seals and everything, I think I'm ready to start locating those spot welds and drill them out. And also, it's time to go find a roof out of the wrecking yard to replace this with. This is one of the great things about working here. I get to just walk over here to the wrecking yard and pick out a roof out of all the hundreds of cars in here. I think they're already working on it right now. Let's go check it out. Alright, here it is right here. Looks like I'm getting an XR7 roof. It's an upgrade. Not like it's any different, but looks nice and solid. Here's Felix helping out. I'm gonna start grinding away in this channel to find where some of those spot welds are at. That's what we're looking for right there. Now when it comes to drilling out these spot welds, I've found that you'll have a much easier time if you use a drill instead of a punch to create your little center hole to guide your spot weld bit. With the punch, I was having problems with the bit just walking out of there and flying all over the place. Whoa! But if you just drill in there a little and create yourself a nice divot, it'll stay centered and you'll have a nice circle. As you're drilling out the spot welds, you can check your progress by using a small flat blade screwdriver and sort of pry it underneath here, and if you do this you can see that you are in fact getting separation. Alright, we have a new theory on this. We noticed that the spot welds on the drip rail are so close together it's going to take an eternity to drill these all out. And we don't really care about saving this panel, so I think what I'm going to do is just grind out this section here and separate that piece of metal from the drip rail and just sort of peel it up. Alright, we're about to find our spot welds on the C-pillar, and to do that we need to get rid of this lead. Now originally we were going to melt it down, but we were told that it can warp the metal here, so we don't want to do that. What we're actually going to use is a sanding disc on a grinder to sort of gently remove all that material and reveal our spot welds. Now since we're going to have lead particles in the air, I think I'm going to wear a mask and some other safety gear if I can fit it all on my head. Alright, I've gotten far enough that I think I have some insight here. I've learned that when you're on lead, it won't spark, but when you get to steel, it will start to spark, so that tells you to stop. Also, the steel is a little bit darker than the lead. It's a slightly different color. So I'm not sure if you can see it very well, but it's definitely different. Now you have a bit of a guide with, you can see the edges of the roof skin here and here, so that gives you a general idea where to start your search. And I'm starting to see these little circles where the spot welds are. So I'm on the right track. Alright, we finally got all these spot welds drilled out. There was about 170 or so of them. Took a long time, but the skin is finally ready to come off this car and go on my car. This is Junior. He works in the wrecking yard with us, and he's going to help me pull it off. Let's go. Look at that. Right. Here's how it looks without the roof. Notice how I had to drill from the underside of this so we didn't mess up the top edge of the roof skin. Well, it's taken longer than a couple days that Mike thought, but we finally got this roof separated and ready to take it off. Let's get rid of this piece of crap.
1, 2, 3.
Well, the structure itself looks pretty good. Check this out. You can see the globs of Bondo that dripped through when they did the previous repair. Okay, I've got this top portion all cleaned off down to bare metal using various wire wheels and sanding discs. I'm going to paint it with some rust inhibitor. But first, masked it all off, including the portions where it's going to need to be welded, because we don't want paint there. I'm also going to use some cleaner, some prep, to make sure there's no contaminants on the surface before we use the paint. And this is our new rust inhibited paint that we sell that should keep it nice and solid for years. It's the same story with the underside of the new roof. All stripped clean to bare metal so we can paint it with rust preventive paint. Here's the paint drying on the top structure portion. Looks as good as new with that black paint on there. Alright, the new roof is on. Listen to this sound. Solid. Went ahead and used some clamps all the way around to get it sort of seated perfectly in place, and I have to say it fits pretty well. The next thing was to drill a few holes and screw in some self-tapping screws so it's firmly where it should be and kept in place for welding. And also, before putting this on, I drilled some holes from the underside of the drip rail to weld through from underneath there. I'm actually not going to weld it because I don't know how, but I know someone who can. But if you can't weld, there's another option. There's a type of body panel adhesive that's actually just as strong as welding, I'm told, and easy to use, and you don't have to weld. But for this one, I'm going to go old school and weld it. The welding is progressing quite nicely. He's using the holes that were there from the existing spot welds and is welding through those and then grinding it smooth, and it's looking pretty good. Alright, now that the welding's done, I got to do something to fill in this area. I'm not going to use lead because it's toxic and it's harder to get, and I don't know if it's even legal to use anymore by EPA standards. So what I'm going to use is some fiberglass filler. You get some of this and hardener, mix up the right ratio, stir it up with your spatula, and just going to smear it in there and smooth it down, and I think that'll be a nice strong filler for that area. Alright, check it out. Got the fiberglass laid in there and smoothed down and sanded, and I'm actually pretty pleased with that. I think it feels pretty good and looks pretty good too. Also got the roof stripped to bare metal. That took quite a long time to do, but it's going to be ready for its coating of epoxy primer. And eventually, at some point, I'm going to put some caulking in these drip rails. Well, since the last time you saw me, it's been a couple weeks, and I handed the car over to a professional body man who patched the rust in the rear window channel. And as you can see, the roof is pretty much finished. It's all in primer, and it's ready for paint and caulking and a new vinyl roof. Now, while I'm at it, I'm having some of the other body issues repaired, and I'm actually going to get the car repainted, it turns out, which I wasn't planning to begin with, but that's okay. But I'm pretty happy with how this roof turned out, considering I did most of the work, and, you know, except for the welding and whatnot. But, you know, I think I've proven here that an average idiot like me can actually pull this off, and you can too. So, good luck if you decide to do it, and I hope this video helped.